Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. This is Jordan with Conquer Trading and Investing, and I'm happy to be here with you today to go over the charts, see what's going on over here. We got a lot of movement over during the London session today. We're going to talk about it all. We're going to put the pieces together so that we have a lot of clarity going into the weekend and next week. So good morning. Glad you're here with me today. Let's take a look. We're going to start with what? With what? The dollar. It's a dollar story. I got an interesting chart for you to look at today. You're going to like this. I'm also going to talk about something that's a little bit out of the norm. You're going to appreciate it. Good morning, Wisconsin. Good morning, everyone. Glad you're here. All right, let's take it out. Your fortune is gold starts today. Yeah. So, by the way, red candles, right? You're looking for what? Get back towards those trends. People like to chase the green ones. We'll take a look at gold. We're going to take a look at everything as we always do, but we're going to do it with calm and patience, right? Let's start off looking at the dollar. All right. We're going to start here looking at the dollar, and reason being, because as it's a dollar story. Really, some good insight yesterday. By the way, if you go to a weekly chart, you have over here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 red candles in a row, right? Here we go. We possibly could be putting in a green candle today. Let's check it out. Good morning over there. South Africa, Netherlands. Harry, good morning. Morning, everybody. Good to see you all. Yeah, what a pleasure to be back. Thank you for that. What a pleasure to be back. By the way, let's get into the calendar really quick since it's coming up. Boom, boom, boom. Next week we'll be away. We're taking the kids to the beach. That's also the last week of August. Careful out there. Not just the last week of August, also this week. I will be live streaming from the September 1st on. This, for me, is probably the 4 most important live streams. You're going to find out about why a little bit later as we get into the Euro-US dollar. But these 4 live streams here are really going to get me back in the flow. They're going to get me ready really for business over here because September, October, November, some of the best months of the year. I'm going to be sharp and on my game. Denmark, Alvaro, what's going on? Good to see you all here this morning. All right, we'll come back to that in a second. Let's start over here with the dollar. We had some really disappointing PMIs out of Europe. It's so funny because the headlines are like, that really puts into question the recovery. Come on, there's no one at any point who thought we were having any type of recovery, right? The economy and the markets are completely separated. Let's not kid ourselves. But what was this and what's happening? First of all, this trend line over there that we looked at yesterday, we've broken it since. All right. So that brings what? That starts bringing some caution into the picture. What happens next? Are we buyers? But look to sell resistance in downtrends. Look to buy off support and uptrends. If I asked my 4-year-old, is this an up or a downtrend? She might not know. But if I asked the 5-year-old, the 5-year-old would definitely be like, that's a downtrend. We're looking to sell resistance. Now, I want you to focus on something that I was looking at myself this morning, which is quite interesting. Why I am not familiar with Wyckoff accumulation. I did recognize it enough to go ahead and search for a pattern this morning to see if it added up. I want you to focus over here with me, all right? This is just nothing more than a thought experiment. I don't want anyone trying to pick the bottom. The easiest and the highest, one of the most expensive forms of gambling is trying to pick bottoms, is trying to buy bottoms. Think about that, right? Dr. Loco, we're not seeing the dollar recover yet. If the dollar and when the dollar starts recovering, we're just going to position ourselves accordingly. Bitcoin's off doing its own thing. I don't want you to get in that, like, I don't want to train your brain to be looking for those. All right. Yeah, stimulus, vaccine, it's all going to be announced. I want you to this is really cool. And this is really important. I love doing this type of stuff. I want you to look at this pattern that's developing over here. All right. Now I want you to look over here. Here, you're coming in. Right. This is called an accumulation event. Right. I want you to look over here, right? And then over here, look, I'm going to put it, I wish I could put it up side to side. I don't need to. Look, I'm going to do it like this. This right over here is the downtrend into, it's marked SC. Again, I'm not familiar with Wyckoff, but I understood, or I saw the pattern, pulled this up. Over here, you make a lower low, and then over here, a third lower low. Watch. Lower low, the second lower low, the third lower low, then watch what happens here, right? And then you get a test. That's equivalent to this one over here. Watch. The test, that's equivalent to this one over here. So, again, why I'm not familiar with it, you could see it definitely playing out over here. That's something to be aware of. We're always aware of the other side of our trade, right? So when does this trigger, right? A break above this resistance over here, the top resistance. It's a level coming in somewhere around, let's call it 94. Keep it rounded up, 94. Now, before we get towards 94, what do we have in the way? We have this trend line resistance over here, right? That's a big one. That's what we're watching. And we're coming into resistance horizontally as well as at the same time. So that's an area to watch right here. If we get up there, how price reacts. Today during this session, New York going into Friday, we're going to see if the dollar could hold above this trend line right here. And we're not taking it any further than that. Now, again, I'm showing you this because it's happening in real time and it's cool. I don't want you to be like, I've never traded this in my life. Don't try to pick a bottom. We're going to be aware of it. We're going to watch it as it plays out. What I want you to be aware of today in this session right now, right? Don't try to predict the future. Is this resistance up here, this trend line resistance, and to see whether or not this trend line resistance holds today. That's what we're looking at. All right? If you thought that's pretty cool, I love that type of stuff. Go ahead, smash that like button. All right? Go ahead. Good morning, Tom. Great to see you over here. Yeah, they're not. Yeah, Dr. Loco, I'm just trying to keep you and everyone else over here. All right. So, boom, boom, boom. What's next? By the way, gold rising, falling. Gold's not doing much, right? Here we have gold. We have gold still holding the 1929 support. That's all gold's doing. You cannot stop day trading. Get on the 8-hour time frame. Stop getting whipsawed around. Stop worrying about every tick. If you're really concerned about every tick, you're way over positioned. There's no way you're ever going to be successful at this. If you're here with me on this channel, I want you to be successful, and I want you to be able to see the market clearly, and I want you to be able to make money out of the market. So you gotta get to zero. Stop trading. Start watching. And we're gonna get that with you over there. No, don't say it. Come on. Oh, that was Weeping Angel. Good to have you back, Weeping Angel. Glad you're here with us. Missed you for sure. Yep. We're just going to take it as it comes, Gary. Let's get into the S&P before we go any further. We're going to get into gold. We're going to get into Bitcoin. We're going to get into silver. We're definitely getting into the Euro US dollar this morning. I have an important lesson there to talk about. But let's start here with the S&P, right? Again, yeah, let's bring up the 5-year-old. Is this in an uptrend or a downtrend? That's in an uptrend, Dad. All right. What do we do in uptrends? We look to buy off support, right? Is this have we pulled back into support? No. Are we looking to buy here? Is the risk to reward there? No. What are we doing? We're just watching it. All right. Actually, right? It's been, I don't have the exact point, but it was right. It was coming up. Where was it? I think it was 33, 32, where I said, all right, everyone get neutral now. Have we gone anywhere since? No. We haven't gone anywhere since, right? So, but by the way, this is also, I'm going to take this trend line over here, right? I'm moving this up, and I'm going to point out the lines to you in a second. So this is the main prime line down here, right? This is the one that I then cloned to get these other lines up here that we use. And when we go to Bitcoin this morning, we'll try to take a little bit longer look so everyone understands and everyone's on the same page. If you're here this morning, if you got coffee in your hand like I do, go ahead, smash that like button, help support me and the channel. If you learned anything here today, the rule is to show your appreciation, go ahead and hit that like button. You clone these lines over here, my prime line, I clone it to get another one, right? I don't want one right there though right now. What I want to do is move this one up here, all right? I'm going to find, this is just for fun. It's Friday, right? And what I'm doing is looking at a couple of different lines. My eye was first attracted to this line over here. Look over here, right? This one doesn't line up perfectly, but this is not a science. This is an art. But that was where my now over here, I see that was all support, right? Look over here. That was all resistance. The reason I'm doing this right now is because this is where the market's focused. That's where the market's focused. All right. So, again, these lines, they could go back down here when we're trading back down here. That's going to provide us the guidance we need. But right now we're up here, and you could see how, well, the market's paying attention to the trend line. So let's just keep that in there as it's appropriate. So why? Because until we trade below that, you got to have an uber bullish outlook here. And once we cross that, then finally we get to look for a support line. That will be the first support line that we could possibly look to lean into to perhaps buy. For me, when the fear index goes up, when everyone's really scared, as we come into our prime trend line over here, boom, that's when I'll think equities have become attractive. Not only that, if we break it, well, then they become attractive to the downside. Again, just having a lot of fun today. Yeah, we got sound. If you can't hear us, turn up your system. Thank you for that. Glad to hear that. Boom. A lot of gold bugs. We're going to look at gold when we get to it for sure. Rise it, because that's not how we trade. And if you're take the course, but that's not how we do it. You got it. First of all, for a trend line or support and resistance to be broke, it's got to close on the daily. Never, ever take a breakout or a breakdown. It's an extraordinarily low probability trade. Do we trade breakouts? Yeah, but we wait for the retest and then the resumption because that's a high probability trade. All right. Good question. Kip's guitar. Listen, brother, it needs to be Kip's Confucius. You've had some really zen comments the last couple of days, and I'm all over them. Never. I say never for you, Giles. I've done it a couple of times in the past. I would say 6 months. It was on gold. The only place I've done it is on gold. I'm trying to look for where I did it. It doesn't even matter. I don't want to confuse you. For all intents and purposes, yeah, Giles, it's just easier. The whole idea is to get everyone to the highest percentage trades. So, I have a lot of experience. I've been trading in these markets for 20 years. And again, gold is the only instrument I've done that on in the past year. Never is better. But yeah, because there's a difference between me and you, right? Right, Andreas? There's a difference between me and you. So let's, Kip's Guitar. Check out his channel. Subscribe if you like the songs. Yeah, Joel, we got Jesse's working on the t-shirts. We had Jim's son put together some artwork. He said he was emailing them over yesterday. I'll be taking a look later today. But, rather than rush them out, we want to get some really nice stuff that we all want to wear. What's going on, Japan? Good to see you. That's good to hear. That people are returning to normalcy over there. We got to get everyone vibed up over there. That's awesome. All right, let me keep going over here. Let's take a look at what's going on in gold. There's not too much going on in gold. What I see happening on gold is that we are consolidating. This is what's happening on gold, and that's super bullish. Look at this big base. What happens to big base? The move goes to outer space. And now what's happening since? We're consolidating. That's bullish, right? I'm not going to don't take a trade just because you expect something to happen. But, if we see a breakout to the upside, that would make a lot of sense. But this consolidation that's happening right now, don't get caught up in it. Don't get caught up in it. Recognize what's happening. It's super healthy. It's super bullish, right? What would be a warning sign? What would be a warning sign that, signal versus noise. Signal versus noise. Anyone who bought gold today, is there going to be a time? Look, 3,000 gold. I don't have any price targets for the end of the year on gold. I don't have any price targets for the end of the bull market on gold. Just going to simply take it as it comes, right? But right now, people should be and continue to be looking to hold on to that purchasing power that gold provides, right? What could you, if I asked you, what do you think is going to happen to the purchasing power of the dollar over the next 5 years? What would you say? It's going to go up or down? Every single one of you would say it's going to go down. What do you think would happen to the purchasing price of gold over the next 5 years? You think it's going up or down from today? Well, I think it's going up, right? Over here, we have some really strong support coming in. Let's call it at, it's right. This is super. As long as we're above 1750 on gold, come on, super, super, super bullish, right? Do I think we come down and test down there? I do not. I don't think so, right? Right here on the swing traders perspective, for all those trying to get a long look at gold. By the way, because there's going to be a million people that come in here and ask what's going on with gold. We're about at the 19-minute mark. That's if you want to get a look at gold today, because this is not where we should be focused today. So we're not going to focus our time and energy where we don't need to be focused. This is a beautiful breakout over here, and now we're consolidating, right? Let it consolidate, and we'll figure out the next move as it's happening. What's going on with silver? Yeah, so I think it was on Wednesday's video. It was right after the Fed meetings minutes were released. We talked about this. If you want to go back to that video on Wednesday in the afternoon, and it's verbal intervention. I think it's brilliant. It's verbal intervention, and it's brilliant. That's all it is. It's a very powerful tool. It's hanging over the heads of everyone that the Fed could, and if they need to, they will, go ahead and cap those yield curves. Now, there are different thoughts about where it'll be capped. Will it be capped higher from where it is now, or will it be capped right around where it is from now? I don't have the answers to any, and neither does anyone. But right now, it's a brilliant tool. Silver looks like it's tracking gold almost perfectly, or not perfectly, the same thing. We had that remember, this is when we got everyone. This is when we got everyone interested and long on silver. Boom. What's happening since? Beautiful retest of that support. And now we're consolidating. And it's consolidating up here above this local support. You could see that putting in right there. That's really healthy and really nice. I think it looks to me that silver wants to retest that 2950 resistance over there. And that's well and good. It's not until we get above 2950 resistance and then really set off a resume that you have the next leg up on silver. Right now, it's consolidating after a big move. Could we go down further? Of course. 2450 becomes attractive. Right now, we're in no man's land, right? Yeah, that's local support, but that's no man's land. It's not that attractive for us to be involved with or picking up right now. Tom, 722. I don't know. 1821. By the way, Tom, just so you get an idea over here, a trend line on an angle like that's not really attractive for me. I'm looking for angles like this. So if you're looking at angles like that, could it be there? Yeah, maybe, but it's not. I'm not paying attention to it. That would be interesting though, Tom. Maybe I'm wrong, That would be interesting. I saw maybe some people are talking about this. Is that a head and shoulders developing? Listen, the thing about head and shoulders is a lot of traders try to be preemptive of them. If you know that you've done that yourself, you know that it doesn't ever work out. Don't try to be preemptive of a head and shoulders. Always wait for the break of a neckline. So too soon to even be thinking or worrying about anything like that. We need to focus on what's in front of us, right? Today, what's in front of us? Dollar. It's really important to me whether or not we close above this trend line over here, right? Let's see if we could hold. If we come into here, that's when we're looking for a rejection. Dude, I'm sorry. I'm a little flabbergasted. I was upset at you. I think you're misreading a situation. All right. Gold's true trend entering. Listen, I think gold is in a bull market right over here. I don't, as you know, that I'm looking at support and resistance. That's an uptrend for me. Let's see what the true trend is on. So when I look at, by the way, and I don't want to confuse anyone, but I put out a really beautiful video inside the Forex playlist on the channel. It's probably the top video right now on the playlist that talks about the true trend. And I talk about in blue markets how I use red impulses as an opportunity to accumulate. And gold, in my opinion, is in a bull market. So I would be looking as red impulses as places looking to accumulate. Watch that video. Watch that video. It's on the playlist, on the Forex playlist, and look at the information I provide there. That would help you. All right. So I'm not swing trading gold, right? I'm not swinging trading gold. That's what I do with FX. Speaking of which, all right, I kind of made a mistake here. Now, and I'm going to get into the mistake because I think it's really important, really crucial to pay more attention to your mistakes, right? That's how you learn. What's the mistake that I made? Well, I went long over here, right? I went long over here. Why was that a mistake? Well, let me go back to the calendar, right? Why am I doing these 3 updates over here? I don't need to do them here this week at all, being that, well, why am I doing them? Because after being gone for a week, maybe a little more, I was definitely out of my flow. You guys might have picked up on that on Wednesday. Thursday, I seemed pretty much into it, but I wasn't looking at the calendar, right? And we had these big PMIs coming out on Friday on the euro. Normally, I wouldn't get involved. I would stay away. This is exactly why this week is so important to me over here, this week over here, because this is really when I am really going to be serious about my training, about getting hyper focused, preparing for the 3 months ahead of that. So this is like go time for me. This is preseason. This is where I'm going to be hyper focused. Now the euro is still holding the big trend line over here. This is the 12-year trend line that above it is uber bullish, right? So it's still looking very, very good over here. It's still looking nevertheless, maybe it's a small little mistake, but it's a mistake. You want to be sharp. You want to be on your game. And believe me, I still make mistakes all the time. Don't think that you're not going to be making mistakes. Once we broke this over here, this was our sign of weakness. Now, what becomes interesting over here? Pay attention. I think I froze. There we go. Bear with me. I don't know if you could still hear me. If you could hear me, give me a check. There we go. We're back. As long as this line over here, by the way, this trend line, this is a really important one, right? You could see over in this area that we could be coming into a really strong area of support. That would be this big trend line breakout over here, as well as this trend line over here. If you get the opportunity, I'm still holding my long. If you get the opportunity to lean in over here, that's attractive. If we lose both of these areas over here, then we could look for a bigger pullback and probably, It's all probability. There's nothing for sure. But if we break that, then is there a good chance we come back and test this line down over here? For sure. We'll walk ourselves through it. Now, by the way, I want to just zoom out 1 second with you all just to give you that perspective that's important. And you could see that trend line. Look, this is the other trend line. I'm going to zoom out. So both these trend lines are uber important. If we lose this trend line, then we have the possibility of coming back to test this one down over here. We're not there yet. We'll see what happens in September. I have no idea what's going to happen in September. I have no idea. Let me catch up with a comment or two while I take a sip of coffee. Think we can see Tesla 2100. If you saw yesterday's video, Luke had shared a chart on Tesla. It provided a really, really good potential take target on Tesla. One that I would be paying attention to. 2200. It's on the video from last night. If you want to check that out. Let's see. Chainlink. We'll take a look at Chainlink this morning. Absolutely. We'll take a look at that in a minute as soon as I catch up with these comments. Thanks for that. J20, Bull Pip, smashing that like button. I do appreciate that very much. How do I use stop loss if I shouldn't sell breakdowns? Should I always wait for it to close? The course is a no-brainer investment. $500 for a year is going to really change your trading. Link. Let's take a look at Link. What's going on with Link? It's in the red, down 10% over here, right? So by the way, let's keep this real over here. When was the last time I pulled up a blue box over here? Look over here and look over here. They're both important. It's that area over here, right? This is where we are right now. So still pretty bullish holding this area. If we lose it, right, what's next? Right? We have some support over here at 1250. Let's move this up over here to 1250. Let's put in a line over here so we could see like the parabolic trend that we're on, right? This is just a guide here. Let me go do this. That worked out perfect, right? So this is a place, and by the way, you had peaks out of it, right? So that lines up. So excuse my stutter. So by the way, that looks perfect. I'm going to leave that there just as a guide, right? And if I go back like that, equally as perfect, and you can see that's like the bottom of the blue box. All right, so pay attention right over there. I'm going to keep it nice and neat though right now. You're looking over there, right? Break over there, call it somewhere around $13.75. Okay, at that point, this is now not looking as nice as it was looking. But right now, this looks nice. This looks like a place to lean into. And, I started off Wednesday's live stream, the first one back, and I spoke about why I was on vacation. I had a little bit of time to think and step back, and how I was thinking that, listen, although I think that the altcoins for sure are going to outperform Bitcoin, and although I think, and I showed you why on the cryptocurrency video released on Saturday 4 weeks ago, that, whether you own the top 20, the top 50, or top 70 altcoins as a basket, that's for sure going to outperform Bitcoin by a large margin. I feel more comfortable invested in Bitcoin. And I'm not going to wait for the top of the altcoin cycle to position out of these altcoins, right? The little bit of Tezos, Link, and Chainlink, and we're going to look at Cardano this morning, by the way. A lot of people interested in it, and Ethereum, because I don't believe in any of those projects. And I don't, even though they're speculative investments, I just don't want to hold them. So, but this looks pretty bullish. There's a lot of money to be made on these altcoins, trading them. If you're swing trading them, not looking to invest in and hold them, listen, I laugh at you. Listen, I support the whole sector, the innovation, but it is what it is. What else could we do over here? Let me take a look at Ethereum this morning with you all. Super bullish over here. Look what's happening. You can see over here the support over here. I probably don't need to draw it in for you, but I will. I'm sure your eyes could pick that up. You can see over there that leg of support as that holding. That's super bullish in bull markets, and we are now in bull markets, and not only in Bitcoin but also in cryptocurrency. You're looking to buy off pullbacks into supports. For whatever reason, a lot of people like to buy up here, right? And a lot of people get scared down over here. But here's the opportunity as you came into the support, right? To look to lean in on any resumption off. There was your first opportunity right over there, right? We're back in, but holding that area of support over here. Another resumption off. It's another opportunity. That's what you're looking for. What's going on with Tezos? I want to check in everywhere, and then we'll go to Cardano. A lot of people ask what's going on with Ripple. You guys all know my thoughts on Ripple, right? What's going on over here at Tezos? Super bullish. We just made a new all-time high. Is that an all-time? Yeah, it's an all-time high. We just made a new all-time high, have pulled back. What are you looking to do after you make a new all-time high on the first pullback? Buy, right? Look at this area of support that we've come into. Look at it. All right, we're coming into it. Let me just use a line to keep it straight then. Let me look at that area of support we've come into. It's holding after the pullback to all-time highs. Everyone loves it up here. Everyone gets nervous down here. You have to retrade your brain for whatever reason, that the psychology of the human brain causes people to chase after momentum and get fearful, when you should be looking to buy. I don't know, but that's what it is. Ripple, also known as Rip-Off. What is the purpose of all those retests apart from aesthetic charts, easy to follow? So, Max, I'm not sure that I 100% understand the question, but from what I think that you're asking is why I think, are you asking why does the support and resistance work? And I'm the type of mind, obviously there are so many different types of personalities, different makeups, and that's what's awesome about having community. You get to kind of like work together. But for me, I'm interested in what is, not why. I'm interested in what is and not why. All right. So we looked at it one time. I think it was on like some site called like Price Action Trading, that we found an explanation of why you get the breakout retest. All I know is the retest and resumption is a high probability trade. Yeah, I don't know exactly. I don't know why it needs to happen. I only know that it happens. Again, that's just how I think. Right? I think Anaya, were you the one who found it or asked for it? If you find that link, please get it over to me or put it into the comments so people could get to it. Boom, 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 boom. What are we looking at on the euro, Japanese yen? Marcos, as we enter the bull market, so even though I don't want to hold altcoins, I think that, and if I was younger, I would. If I didn't have 5 kids and a wife, I would for sure. But at the end of the day, if you're swing trading these things, it's a beautiful market to be trading. I wish I had some answers for those that are in New York. New York regulation is tough. There's not too many options available. You have Coinbase. You have some altcoins on Coinbase. And all you need is a few. All you need is a few, right? So what else? Oh, Euro, Japanese yen. Let's take a look at her. Let's take a long look here at the Euro, Japanese yen. And we have broken down outside of that. Boom, into the support, right? So automatically as we come into support, let me clean up this chart really quick, and I'm going to make this resistance over here appropriately so red, right? But we're into support over here, and it's a good looking support area. I'm looking, if that holds, that's an opportunity to go ahead and add to my position. I'm still in a position from middle of July on the Euro Japanese yen, right? So is this a place for me now to think about adding as we pull back into support if we resume off it? 100%. Does that still look good technically? Let's go back towards the low over here when the Fed stepped in. That looks like a pretty strong uptrend. Is that in jeopardy of rolling over? Not even close yet. That would be definitely trying to pick and call a top. I don't do that. I look for uptrends. I look to buy off support. Here we're coming into support. Now I see opportunity. It's got to be the right time of day, but that looks attractive. When would this start getting ugly? Well, if we lose this support over here, right, then at that point, and we not only lose the support, but then resume down off of it, then it looks like we're coming lower, right? I should probably move this up a little bit, so I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to just move this up a little bit to where the market was last paying attention. Resistance support, that's the area that I'm going to look to focus in on. But right now, that looks good. That looks like this is like where my attention is drawn to it as we come into a support in a very strong uptrend. Let's see what we're able to do over there. Monero was pumping last night, up 10%. Let's see what it's doing now. It's just off a little bit. And we're going to step back and get a look at Monero. Oh, Monero is not far off its all-time. Is that its all-time high? I'm looking at Binance. Well, I'm not sure or not. I don't want to really look at it right now. But 121, look over here as we look over here at this area. I have that touch there, that touch there, that touch there. Let's put a line over there. All right, and here you got a retest into that area right now. So hold on one second. We're going to go down to a lower time frame, and we're going to pick it up right now. Do you see why we have that line over there, that area of support? Here was all resistance here. It was resistance here. We're broken above it and are now testing it. So come back down over here. Look at that. That's beautiful, right? That's an opportunity if you resume off there to look to get long on Monero. Looking pretty good. And very, 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 very bullish, obviously. That's when we began. That's when I tracked it for y'all, right? Breakout, retest, boom. Let me catch up on a little bit of comments. Oh, no flowers for me, but thank you, Jimmy. That gives me great pleasure, really, Jimmy, to hear, to know how clearly that you're seeing the market right now. That really, Jimmy, brother, good job, man. See, Anaya, you can't send it. So could you break up the link? If you could just send maybe like or just type out what we need to Google, we could find it. I could post the link if you let me know what it is. YouTube does not allow others to post links. I have the settings that they're allowed for whatever reason. Jordan, thanks for sharing a vid, which that video got a lot of play, which outlined the importance of Link and how it translates between old school finance and every blockchain. You tweeted out, but it never gave me a shout out. Jay, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. But I thought I was just retweeting someone else's YouTube video. Jay, if you ever tag me on a tweet, then I'll retweet your tweet. But I didn't know Jay at all. I apologize for that 100%. I thought I was just retweeting someone else. I'm sorry, man. It's a weak euro story. Let's check in. Let's see what the dollar is doing in a minute. Why must it reach exact points? It doesn't need to reach exact points, Max. Sometimes in a very bullish market, maybe silver will have an example. Here, well, this looks ugly now. But Max, it doesn't have to reach the exact point. You could get a breakout, and then you look for that first pullback and or consolidation, and then you play the resumption out of there. It doesn't need to pull all the way back. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Thank you, Tony. That looks super good right there. Just pulling it up and looking at it. Why I say that is because look at that. That looks super good over here. You got further support down over here. No question about it. So I don't know enough about the project itself to speak about. I know there's an extraordinarily large following. Look, this is my same thesis for all altcoins. You know, as Bitcoin is entering its bull market, a rising tide lifts all boats. Altcoins are definitely going to outperform Bitcoin. So, you know, there are certain leaders. You know, what is Cardano going to, where does it eventually peak out at? I have no idea. Wow. But this thing is just taking out some very important resistance over here. Look at that. That's where we had last support. It then was resistance throughout the whole bear market. This thing looks like it could be set for a pretty big move over here. We got next almost up to 20 cents as a next resistance, but really eventually targeting much high, almost at 40 cents over here. 40 cents is the next really big resistance. Pretty nice. Pretty nice indeed. That's just a larger perspective. What everyone who's focused on altcoins should be doing. I prefer Forex. It's just easy. I think if I was younger, I would be focused on these altcoins. You know, it's the same exact concept that we look at over and over again. But Cardano looks super bullish over there, Tony. Super bullish. Just breaking some strong resistance. So just my own 2 cents. I'm not sure what's going on with France. If you look at Spain and where the spikes are coming from, they're coming from areas that did not experience during the quote unquote first wave any type of escalation. The areas that were hot during the first part are not having a spike. So that's positive. The other thing is that we're not seeing the death rate increase whatsoever. That's also positive, right? Both those things are extraordinarily positive. I'm not sure what's going on with France, except that they said that they will not impose lockdown measures. But, you know, whether or not it's trading off that, I really don't know. Enrico, I'm glad to hear that you're feeling better, brother. I got on my knees yesterday at 3:00, the hour of mercy, and really with the heart, Enrique, I was definitely, you know, I was definitely bringing you before the Lord, and you know, I'm just glad to hear that you're in good spirits today, hoping for a full recovery, and you know. What's the playbook on stocks at or near 52-week highs? Jesse Livermore, one of the greatest traders of all time. I mean, he would look for stocks making 50-week highs. That's when he would look to buy them. Those that are interested in stocks, I mean, I hear a lot of success. People are just buying them off support and resistance and doing what we do here. But, you know, Can Slim is a great resource for those interested in stocks. I think what we do here provides a great guide. I don't, you know, that's all I could really say. Let's take a look at the Nasdaq right now. Let's take a look at the Nasdaq. Dollar trading at the highs of the session. Dollar trading at the highs of the session as the equity markets have been open up now for about 17 minutes. Gold is now testing the 1929 area. We're looking what happens on the daily time frame to see whether or not we close above or below there. But even what's more important, right? Just broad strokes here. Broad strokes. Broad strokes. All right. So that's just uber bullish if it holds. Don't. That's not an area that I wouldn't sell gold. There's no way I would be going against the bull market like that. What's going on with the Nasdaq? It had a super. I was up 1 point something percent yesterday. It held that local support we looked at during the live session as it was resuming off in the morning. That's where we looked at. We said, held local support is resuming off of it. And it went on to put up really nice gains on the day. And there it is. I mean, the Nasdaq is what? It's trading at or near all-time highs. Is it putting in any type of, I mean, that channel, it's not a rising wedge on a smaller time frame, is that right? Is that possibly, is that possible? But if you break down, aren't you looking to buy there? I think so. And then what? I mean, come on. There's no one who should be thinking of selling the equity markets. There's zero technical reason to do so. And there's no one who should be thinking of buying up here, right? If you're not involved, you need to wait for a pullback into support to get involved. So that's the Nasdaq. Yeah, we started the fish tank for pull back and then come back and join us. But go to the very beginning of the live stream, probably starting at about 2 or 3 minutes in, where we started going off on the DXY. Gave a really, I mean, that was our primary focus. It's a dollar story. And we also showed the pattern that possibly is developing over there right now. So really interesting. I think you'll enjoy that much more and then come back to us. Anyone who's looking for gold, just pull back on the red bar until you get to 19 minutes into the live stream, and then you'll get a very good look. I mean, Larry Williams, he holds the record in the World Trading Championships. I think it was a 12,000% return in 1 year. Absolutely phenomenal. He did it again with his daughter. The second highest return was 1,001 or 1,002%. It was under her name, but obviously he was trading. But that was a long time ago. And since he hasn't done anything, is he trying to maybe sell some books by putting a call that, if he calls the bottom and he gets it right, that all of a sudden, he gets some, I don't know, but I think that's noise. I don't think it's signal. We're going to watch what happens on the charts. We've been all over the dollar. We've been all over the dollar. And I think that we will continue to be so. But right now, we're in a super downtrend. We're looking for pullbacks into resistance to sell. Could it be bottoming? Yeah, but trying to pick a bottom is really a losing man's game. So the whole thing about what we do here is we don't ever try to find the bottom of a trend or the top of a trend. We're only looking for that sweet spot within the trend for us to trade around, right? I will never get the bottom and I will never get the top, and I'm never trying to. And always at that trend change, when the trend changes, that's a difficult portion to trade through. All right, that's part of trading. That's part of trading. It's like a casino. Over time, you make money. You have portions where you do better and where you do worse. This summer has been utterly fantastic. Can we expect a pullback on Bitcoin? Bitcoin is consolidating so beautiful ever since started the bull market here, and continues to consolidate. Will you get a pullback on Bitcoin? You'll get multiple pullbacks on Bitcoin during its bull market. You'll get pullbacks of 30% are big pullbacks. Lean into them. You will get a pullback on Bitcoin. Cardano making up some tacos. All right. It looks good, Tony. It looks good now. It looks like it's getting ready to really put on some nice moves. Lockdown where? The question is, could a next lockdown bring down the U.S. market and crypto to March lows? So, as long as we're above this trend line over here, this is just uber bullish. If we break this trend line, we are going to start looking and trading this thing accordingly. But we're not thinking about that. March lows are not even in the picture right now. They're not even close. There's nothing to think about March lows. So we're not going to, no, that shouldn't be a thought in your mind. Are there going to be further lockdowns? I don't know. How are you going to lock down the people after you allowed thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people to be in the streets protesting? I don't know. I don't know. The Twitter, I'll throw the link out for you. That's great. I'm glad you're here today. Let's look at the US dollar, Japanese yen for sure. Thank you. We had a wonderful time. Thank you for that. Yeah, we looked at that, Dennis. Whether or not it's forming a head and shoulders, it's too soon to tell. Do not try to ever be preemptive of a head and shoulders pattern. Always wait for the break of a neckline. Those that try to predict head and shoulders patterns, come on, do not try to do that. That's the same thing as trying to pick a top or a bottom. Do not do that. Right now, what we're seeing on silver, is it possible that this becomes a head and shoulders pattern? Yeah, right? Maybe later, right? Where would the neckline even be? I'm not sure. Maybe you have to pull that down a little bit, right? Hold on one second. Because you have this touch over here. You have this touch over there, right? So if you break the neckline, then you're coming into support here and here. I don't think so. I genuinely do not think so. And I'm not, what I'm seeing is this thing really break up to a powerful leg up and is now consolidating and super bullish. Super bullish. Dollar, I remain super bearish. The dollar's been down. We looked at that earlier, 8 or 9 weeks in a row, right? I mean, the thing is bearish. Do you think it's going to go down forever? No. Finally, get some nice pullbacks, hopefully. Let's see what happens. US dollar, Japanese yen. Let's take a look at what's going on over here. And US dollar, Japanese yen is working its way back towards this resistance. This is some resistance. This is stronger resistance over here at 106.66. And then you even got further resistance up here at 107.03. I went over here to this touch and this touch. Here it's resistance. Here it's support. And there you can see it's resistance. So, I mean, that's a mess, right? US dollar has a lot of work to do if it's going to turn around any of this price action here on the US dollar, Japanese yen. You're looking to sell resistance. Do I think that the Japanese yen is the most attractive currency to trade against the dollar? I do not at all. Oh, back in the Zen. Tesla zooming towards. I love you. Tesla is hitting, targeting. It was over here. Let me pull it out for you. This one over here. This was shared by Luke. Could I zoom on in that? There we go. Look at the channels. I like the channels that he did. You see this channel over here? I cloned it with my eyes right over there. But he even extended it to the touches over here and here. Clone it again up here, right? Hits this point. Is that a place that I would be looking for a take profit on Tesla? Yeah, right? If you got up there, would that be a smart place to look to take profit? Yep, I think so. That's the best guide I've seen on Tesla. Nice job, Luke. I appreciate the share. That's awesome. There you are, Luke. Thanks for that share. Kevin is asking. I mean, I don't, Kevin. I don't know where you're positioned in from. I'm positioned in right now, 100% into Bitcoin personally, and I will be buying 30% pullbacks as well. But yeah, I think if you have 50% exposure, that's awesome. That's super good. Would you wait now for the next 30% pullback? Yeah, I'm not buying Bitcoin up here. I'm not buying Bitcoin up here. So I think that's smart. I think it's a very good plan you have. I think that's a very good plan you have, right? Because even if Bitcoin shoots past the 14,000, let's say it goes up to 16,000 and then pulls back 30%, you're over here where you are now, right? But if Bitcoin goes to 14,000 and pull back 30%, we're coming back and we're testing closer to 10,500, So, but more importantly, Kevin, I mean, I'm targeting personally people that thought I was excited on Bitcoin. I will not be excited on Bitcoin until we're trading above 120,000 and until I exit. When I exit Bitcoin, I'll be excited. But I am looking I'm looking at targeting, 140,000 is my mental target on Bitcoin. I'm targeting over 100,000, right? So 100,000, if you ask me, should I buy at 12,000 or 14,000 or 15,000 or 10,000? To me, they're all great entries. Just keep a little bit of perspective on that. Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. Let's check on what's going on over there. Yeah, I'm trying to ignore all that stuff. Obviously, there's a lot of new people in here today, which is awesome because I'm glad you found us. And if you have, that's glad you're here. Welcome. Do subscribe and spend a little bit of time watching what's going on here. You've stepped into something that's really special. But the predictions, that's not how you make money. Find out how you make money following the charts. It's a lot easier. There's not much I could add to what's going on here on Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. We're coming up into a whole pocket of resistance. You can see it really gets pretty strong up towards 1.131 up there. And this whole area is an area of supply. It's basing out, by the way. If you do this is a little bit easier over here. You could see that we're basing out over here, right? That's kind of the range to focus in on. I don't like it at all. I just don't like sideways markets at all. So is that putting in perhaps a long-term bottom? Maybe. Is that getting ready here? Should you be selling the top of this range over here on any moves into resistance as you're in a downtrend? Maybe. But that's the deeper perspective over there. Ooh. So, I mean, shorting something in a bull market seems a little dangerous to me. I don't understand why anyone would want to short something in a bull market. That's crazy, Skates. That's crazy, Skates. That's crazy, Skates. Let's check out the US dollar, Canadian dollar here this morning. That's awesome. I'm glad you're here with us today. What's the news for the DXY going up? Europe had really bad PMI numbers, right? Not only that, the DXY has been down 9 weeks in a row. So is it going up or is it a bounce? It's too soon to tell. But in the beginning of this video, the very beginning, Matt, when we looked at the DXY, highly recommend it. Really cool thought experiment over here, and I showed exactly this pattern right here, right now, is playing out perfectly, and we're about right here right now on it. You could see that this test, this test, this test, this test, and I mean, check it out. It's good stuff. Never go against the trend. Thanks, Kips. What's going on with the US dollar, Canadian dollar? I'm on the 3-day really quick here, and super interesting, by the way, because this was a huge breakout. This is a breakout that all of us were watching and involved in over here, right? Now, granted, it went a lot further quicker than I expected, right? It definitely did, but you can see we're coming back down now, and we're kind of retesting that breakout. This white line over here, I think, is pretty important, right? Pretty important. But are we into some support right now? Yeah, we're into some support right now. Is that an uptrend or a downtrend? For me, it's neither. For me, it's kind of 50%, you know, from the low and 50% down from the high. I can't get involved in that. If you're looking over here and if you're looking to sell any near-term resistance, let's see the best level we could get, right? You got some strong resistance up here. Let me draw that down. I would say that's your strong resistance. Are you into some local resistance right here, right now? Yeah, it's local. Is that a place to lean into? Maybe. For real, maybe. And then you also have this little bit of a guide right there, right? So maybe. But that's not necessarily attractive either. Yeah, I talked about the Euro US dollar at the beginning of the stream. I think it's really, Daniel, worth watching because I talked about a mistake I made on it as well. And the mistake I made is really important to consider your mistakes. It's at the beginning of the live stream. We went like this, Danielle. You should pull back on the red thing. First, we talked about the DXY. Then we went into the S&P. Then we went into gold, silver, and then we went into the Euro US dollar. Silver's just consolidating here, right? Silver's consolidating. This is how I'm viewing silver. Like that, right? We're consolidating. Big base, big move up, and now we're consolidating, right? Do not look for a top, right? You're looking to buy off supports in an uptrend. Thank you very much. I love being here with you all. The US dollar Canadian dollar is testing a weekly trend line that it broke through. Jason, post me a chart on Twitter. Love happy accidents. Oh boy. Oh, it's terrible to do. Hey, Mikkel, thanks for your presence over here. We just looked at Tesla. Guys, the live stream gives a lot of targets. Over here on Twitter, it gives I'll post this for you over here. It gives a nice little target over here. I talked about why I don't want to, everyone that's spending the time putting time in there, I don't want to have to bore them by doing it again. But, I think we're on autopilot right now. Yeah, we didn't talk about copper. Let's do that for sure. Let's take a look at copper. We'll take a look at palladium. Right now being rejected pretty hard at the important level over there, right? That important breakout level that we were looking for. But more importantly, this is actually pretty bullish. Let me first do this. Let me first get everything set up perfectly, right? Because that's resistance, right? Above there, that really opens up a test over here a little bit higher towards $3.30, right? $3 is a very important level. But what I'm seeing here is this. This is a really nice bull flag that was put in on copper, right? There it is. It's a nice, important bull breakout, retest, entry. We're coming back in and testing that. Still super bullish as we come into this area right now over here, right? You want to be looking on any resumption off. That is providing also another good entry. For copper to break down, it really would have to lose, I would say, this area over here, which is $2.70. And that one above there is super bullish. So $2.70. No, that's, yeah, $2.69. So again, you're getting a gift over here. We didn't get above the $3 mark. Above the $3, that's a super safe entry, right? But this is a good entry coming up over here as you have hit the first resistance. Pulling back now, you're looking for this to hold and a resumption. Looks super good. Thank you for that, KC. Thank you for that. That's cool, man. No, I wouldn't do that at all. If someone was just learning to paper trade, and everyone should be learning to paper trade, because if you can't make money on a demo, you're not going to make money on a live account. But I would not ever recommend 3 to 5 currency pairs. Again, there's the course next to nothing, and the education is invaluable. I'm very specific about how many pairs and which pairs you should be focusing on and why. Invest in yourself. If you think that the cost of education in the markets is losing money, you're dead wrong. That's completely wrong. Do not do that. And if you think that you're going to be able to go ahead and figure it out on your own, maybe, but that's tough, right? So, what else did I want to get into? Palladium. All right, Palladium, super bullish over here. Super bullish. Not much else to say. I see a similar pattern that I see right now also on gold and silver, and she's consolidating, right? A break above this trend line, and it's not easy to put where that trend line is, by the way, right? That's, I guess, I drew that for someone in the Conquering the Markets Telegram group yesterday, but that is a look at the trend line I have. So we're looking to see and waiting. Here's some support, a resumption off there. Is that a trigger for Palladium? Yeah, it's Friday, though. Don't look for new entries right now during New York on Friday. All right. Thank you. That's, I mean, so interesting. By the way, Mark Douglas, thank you for that beautiful comment. Mark Douglas, right? Trading in the Zone. Is that Mark Douglas's book? I haven't read it. The books that I recommend, by the way, that I loved and have read or listened to multiple times are The Market Wizards, The New Market Wizards, and Reminiscence of a Stock Operator. I love them all. None of those books kind of get into specific of trading. Trading in the Zone is a book, I believe, on psychology. I believe it probably holds tons and tons of gems. But what's really interesting to me, and I don't know if you all agree or not, I would like to kind of know, but why I believe my strength is in the charts, is analyzing the charts, is being able to take something so complicated and make it simple. Has anyone learned anything about the psychology of trading through following this channel? Because I think we touch on lots of pieces over there. Kips mentioned at the beginning of yesterday's live stream, as the dollar was acting strong, also pay attention to what instruments hold up the best with that dollar strength. Yeah, Jay, no problem, but you could, that's where you want to get the best information. When I was in the zone talking about it, speaking of trading in the zone, Bitcoin's bullish. Bitcoin has entered its bull market and is super, super, super bullish. I'm going to do this really quick. I think we're getting sucked out over here. So I'm going to get rid of that. And then pull it up over here, and then I think we're going to perform a little bit better. Let me check in what's going on over here. Let's check in what's going on over here. Dave, Square, yeah, I mean, so this is going back. So I have a couple of thoughts on Square. I don't know how helpful they're going to be for you. But going back into earlier this year, I was super. I said Square is the only public company that I'm interested in personally because they have basically put the success of their business on Bitcoin. And I could get behind that 100%. During the crisis, by the way, they had record earnings with over 50% of those earnings coming from Bitcoin purchases. If you look at Square's earning quarter over quarter, the amount of earning coming from Bitcoin purchases, it's just going exponentially up, right? I remember looking at Square during the crisis. Now, remember during the crisis, that was not an easy time. I was not actually, that's when I was loading up on Bitcoin, 4,000, 5,000. But I wish I would have purchased Square back during the crisis, right? I'm not buying Square up here. I believe in Square. It's just not my thing. This is, that's shooting the moon, right? Would I short it? Absolutely not. The only thing that you could look to do is wait, be patient. Be patient. It's eventually going to pull back. Long term, Square is a buy. Long term, Square is a buy. I believe that if you look at the future of banking, it's going to look a lot like Square, Cash App. It's going to look a lot like BlockFi. And it's going to look a lot like perhaps either Facebook Libra or some form of some tech company getting out some type. Facebook should have launched Libra without asking. But here we are. Brandon, I mean, so it really depends. If you're 25 with $100,000 in saving, how would I advise my nephew to invest? If he had, I had this conversation with my nephew this week, and although I would want him to be heavily invested into Bitcoin, since he doesn't understand it, I made it clear to him, never invest in something that you do not understand. Never invest in something you don't understand how or why, right? I'm not going to just tell him what allocation he should have. If he doesn't understand Bitcoin, he should invest in it, right? He's invested more into equity markets, and he's focused in on equity markets, and he's reading books on equity markets, and he's invested in Apple and Square, and that's all good. Me personally, knowing what I know at this point, as we're just entering a bull market and we are looking for a 10x, or I'm looking for over a 10x on Bitcoin, I would have at 25 years old, personally, at least a 50% allocation into Bitcoin. Easily, right? I told him, that not understanding it, that he should have closer to maybe a 10%. 4 years from now, he's going to have the opportunity to do this all over again. And by then, if he understands it, he could position himself higher. But Brandon, I'm a lot older. I have 5 kids, a wife, and I am over 50% positioned into Bitcoin. Yeah, I think same for me. Right? By the way, well done. Well done. Well done. Is there anything else that we want to look at today, or we're going to call it a slow flat Friday session? I have a feeling, even though I didn't plan on it, that I'm going to have to be giving some type of update either, tomorrow, even though I'm plan on being away, because I want everyone to have that deeper perspective. So maybe not. Let me go ahead and get that in there for you. What's going on, Richard? Jason, Not only send to that chart, Jason, of the US dollar, Canadian dollar. I'll respond on Twitter for sure. What's my greatest fear regarding Bitcoin? Great question. So, by the way, just for some perspective, George, this is a good question. For some there's no way 100% I will become fundamentally, when I don't know if I should say fundamentally, because of the cycle of Bitcoin, the 4-year cycle, I will become uber bearish on Bitcoin in the winter of 2021. Don't hate me now. I'm telling you ahead of time. Winter of 2021, I will become uber bearish on the price of Bitcoin, although not on Bitcoin itself. I believe in the technology. I believe in listen, if you ever try to move money internationally, then you know the value of Bitcoin. Plain and simple. If you ever try to move precious metals internationally, then you understand and know the value of Bitcoin. Period. Right? So what's my biggest, what are the risks of Bitcoin? The biggest risk of Bitcoin, what are they? I would say a bug in the software is the biggest risk I know of Bitcoin. And it's completely possible. You know, that's probably the biggest risk of Bitcoin. Now, of course, Bitcoin's got some of the best developers in the world who work on it. They move very slowly on purpose, right? But that's the biggest risk to Bitcoin. You know, not it being hacked, you know, but a bug in the software, not a government making it leak. Governments know they can't make it, you know, they can't do anything to stop Bitcoin. It's gone too far. They can't do anything. There are governments that have tried, right? And then what did they do? They did a full circle and wound up embracing it and are vocal that they can't do anything. Could the U.S., if it ever, it's not a threat to the U.S. dollar. Bitcoin's not a threat to the U.S. dollar. And probably, maybe, well, I don't know. But it's not a threat to the U.S. dollar, right? If it ever were and the U.S. government wanted to do something, what could they do at this point? Well, they could make on-ramps illegal. They can make it illegal for U.S. citizens to hold Bitcoin, but that doesn't seem to be the direction we're in, and that wouldn't stop Bitcoin either. That would actually make Bitcoin stronger once people realized that even though they made it illegal, they couldn't do anything about it. If I didn't, this is a really important question for everyone, in my opinion on it. If you didn't own Bitcoin, this is where we started the bull market on Bitcoin. That's where we started the bull market on Bitcoin. As we broke out through over here, it was exactly on time, right? When I say it's exactly on time, just let me come over here really quick to show you what I'm talking about. This is, let me find a big red dot right over here. It's exactly on time. Here's the halving. First month, second month, third month. Boom, boom, boom. This is exactly on time, as technically we broke here, right? So what's going on? If I didn't own Bitcoin now and I'm looking and targeting $140,000 on Bitcoin, right? If you want to be conservative, you could say $100,000, right? Does it really matter if you pick up Bitcoin at $10,000 or $15,000? Think about that. If you don't own Bitcoin, what's the risk? For me, the risk would be not owning Bitcoin, right? So what would I do, right? Well, I would make sure that I own Bitcoin. I advise family, you know, the same. You buy Bitcoin now. If you don't own Bitcoin, buy it now. You know, what should you be doing for those 30% pullbacks? Doing whatever you can to save money that you could further accumulate on those pullbacks. Would I wait for the first 30% pullback to buy? No, I would buy now. So there's nothing wrong with trading the London session on a Friday, especially before New York opens. But generally speaking, you know, once you get past 9 o'clock a.m., 10 o'clock a.m., on a Friday, you don't want to take new positions on a Friday. And again, this is geared towards foreign exchange. You got it. That you put in the time. First of all, you're in here every day for months, so you deserve it, right? You deserve it. I never traded options in my life. I had a long talk when we were in Vail. Derek, came out, and he's been with the group for months. He's not active in the Telegram because we sometimes get 100, 200 messages overnight. But he follows everything, and he's an option trader, and he did exactly what we talked about, was just translating what we do into the option markets. And he'd been trading since 2013. This is completely turned around his trading. You have no idea how happy it made me to have that conversation, because I had no idea, right? And it made me just sit down and talk with my wife about the amount of lives that we're helping touch and really help out. And that's really what's been from the most important thing. I just really wanted to help. Actually, on the YouTube channel, I have that in the about section. Ultimately, I just want to help as many people as possible. So that's awesome. Thank you for sharing with me that. But man, you put in the work. I see you here every day, and you put in the work. That's awesome. So you're asking, when you buy Bitcoin, who do you buy? So first of all, do not invest in a gold ETF. That's completely reckless and dangerous. There's no gold backing that up, right? Think about that. But when you're buying Bitcoin, you're buying someone else's Bitcoin. The money goes to them. When you buy Bitcoin, you're buying someone else's Bitcoin, and the money goes to them. Yes, Thomas, for 100%, and highly recommend it. Thomas, on the Conquering Trading and Investing playlist section, there's one on Bitcoin. Watch the first 4 videos on Bitcoin. Watch, and you will understand it so well. You will understand the 4-year cycle so well. The godfather of one of my children, such a close friend of mine, after years and years and years, finally he was interested, and I told him the same advice. Watch those first 4 videos. It took him a couple of weeks, and after he watched it, he's like, "Oh my God, Jordan, I had no idea that you were so into this. I mean, I knew you were into this, but I had no idea." And this is the same advice for you. Go ahead and do that. I'm not looking for dollar strength. I'm looking over signal versus noise. One way or another, we have lots of stimulus, lots of further printing coming. Thank you very much. Derek, that's a moving target. Why I lean that being towards November, December. It could be January, February, and there's no way of. I mean, none of us have any crystal ball. We have the roadmap, and from the roadmap we take how price is. We always follow price, so we're gonna have to follow it from what happens in that period. And I'll be here with all of you when I exit Bitcoin. Every single one of you will know. Right? When I exit Bitcoin, every single one of you know, but I have no idea. That's why I say winter. Thank you, Hank. Have a beautiful weekend. No. The difference, Jay, it's a good question. But as the yuan is digitized, as eventually the dollar is digitized, those are centralized systems that someone has control over, that could cut you off from the system. No one could stop you from using Bitcoin. Someone could stop you from using the digitized dollar. The same way that they stop people right now from using the SWIFT banking system, imposing sanctions. But also just as important as that is that the supply of Bitcoin is capped at 21 million. Could that be increased? Yeah, but it never will be, because those that hold Bitcoin, it's in their incentive for it never to be, so it never will be. But those dollars will be printed, whether it's digitized. It's already digitized, the dollar, Powell was on 60 Minutes saying, yeah, well, we don't actually print dollars anymore. We just go ahead and hit a few keys and digitally print more. There's a lot of you saw some big things happen in Bitcoin the last couple of weeks. Probably one of the biggest things that ever happened in Bitcoin. The public company MicroStrategy has purchased $250 million worth of Bitcoin that they're holding on their balance sheet, right, as an alternative to treasuries. That's just the beginning. But the thing is, there are many public pension funds who own MicroStrategy and now therefore own Bitcoin. That's the very beginning of a trend to come. That's the very beginning of a trend to come. I mean, the thing about Apple, and all I can say about Apple right now is that, well, it's a really big scam, isn't it? And why do I say that? Right now, you have the Federal Reserve buying Apple bonds that Apple does not need to sell. Apple then goes ahead and takes that money it receives from the Federal Reserve and is buying back shares. So, I don't know. Yeah, you should definitely be trading on a demo account, 100%. Yes, 100%, George. But that's my whole thesis right there. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it doesn't have the possibility. 140 is really my maximum target, and I'm not saying it's not possible that the model doesn't break to the upside, especially with the current environment we're in. And I'm not saying that, am I going to be disappointed if we only hit 110, $1,000? No, it's a ballpark figure, right? I can't predict the future. That's what I'm targeting, though. And yes, between now and then. David, if it depends how long you're holding that Bitcoin. If you're holding it for less than a year, it's taxed as your income, and if you hold it for over a year, it's taxed as capital gains. Are there any physical gold ETFs that are fully backed by gold? No, that's not a risk at all to Bitcoin. Cameron, in my opinion, Cameron. Listen, I'm not coming. Cameron's opinion is that to him the biggest risk to Bitcoin is the development of another crypto which captures the majority of the market share. Listen, I don't think that's a risk at all. I don't think that no one's competing against Bitcoin. There are many different cryptocurrencies, but none other are competing against it as money. And none other has the launch that Bitcoin had, which was a fair launch. It was a fair launch. Today, when you have coins, either some type of venture capitalist owns the majority of the float and is dumping as it cannot happen again. Bitcoin's launch, and there's no other. That's not, in my opinion, and I'm not. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're right, but in my opinion, that's not a threat whatsoever. Well, no one knows that. No one knows that Bitcoin will go to $100,000. I mean, I have my money. I have my money where my analysis is. Yep, I 100% do. I've been buying all of my Bitcoin through BlockFi, and I do recommend the same. I think it's the easiest. And it is raised, by the way. They just raised 100. By the way, there's a link in the description below to BlockFi if you want to use the affiliate link. They just raised another $50 million round yesterday. It was led by Morgan Creek, the Winklevoss twins. Their fund was also involved again. It's their third round, and what was I going to say? Oh, and Anthony Pompolano got actually a seat on the board. It's I think one of the most important companies in the future of the space. I think it is part of what is going to look like the new banking system. All right, everyone. I'm going to call it a day. I hope you all enjoyed this session. I know I did, and I thank each and every one of you. Maybe it wasn't a good session. We only had 368 likes. That's okay. It's a pleasure for me to be here with you. And I think I'm going to update. Well, I am going to update just because I think of you all as my family, right? And I know I'm going away next week. So I want to make sure after whatever the close is today that I just give some type of overview and clarity. Next week is a light week. The summer has not really been that light of trading. The volume on the equity markets is super light. But, I'll do my best to stay in contact, especially as you saw while I was away last week. If anything out of the ordinary happens, I'll be there in a second, for sure. But yeah. Too soon to tell. We'll find out where the close is. Thank you, George. Thank you, George, very much. Oof, short gold in a bull market. We're here to make money in the long run. We're not here to take risks. We're not here to gamble. We're not here for the thrill. We're here to make money. No, I 100% will be selling. I will not hold through the bear cycle. I will not be holding through the bear cycle. Yeah, Jason, thanks for doing that. 100% I will. Ron, you too have a beautiful weekend. Everyone have a beautiful weekend. It's done by consensus. It's done by consensus. If you're running a full node, you're participating in that. You know what? F the banks. Yeah, I'm just diversified everywhere through multiple places. Yeah, it could break. It could break to the upside. And if you remember what happened in the last bull market, by the way, it was only a period of a couple of weeks where Bitcoin went from 10,000 to 20,000, right? You're talking about a period over here of 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 days, 2 days. This is a blow off top. That's a parabolic move. We're not seeing a parabolic move on gold and silver right now. That's a parabolic move. Is it possible that happens again? Of course. Of course. Check out Oanda. Check out Oanda is amazing. And you can connect it directly to TradingView. As you place a trade, you have to just be looking at Oanda charts on TradingView. So when you pick the chart, for example, if you look at the Euro US dollar, look for Oanda. And then you can click buy or sell off Oanda. And then it'll pull up. I'm not connected, so it won't work. It'll pull up a calculator here. It's amazing, and I highly recommend it. And then we also got, what is it? The Swiss central bank printing money and buying Apple shares. This is a great. Watch the beginning of the session. Kips. Is that correct? PHYS backed by gold. That's actually, I'm going to research that myself. That's important to know. A lot of people that are trapped within the equity markets. Shane, have a great day. Thank you, Richard. You guys all make it a great channel. Yep, there's always a risk in everything. Of course, there's a risk that the 4-year cycle of Bitcoin does not play out this time. But no, but not because of those reasons. The amount of people that are privy and understand the 4-year cycle is extraordinarily small. Most institutions right now are using this halving as a research event. So they're going to be buying in much later. They're still waiting to see. And the amount of people that are aware of it, there are many people who are aware of it who don't believe in it. So there is, I don't think that is the case, and I don't think that's the case for the next halving either. You too, Monkey Farm. DXY is just hanging in there. That's why I'm going to do an update later. Right now, we're only looking to see whether or not this holds today on the daily time frame, of this break of this resistance holds or is rejected, and or a test into that resistance for an opportunity to sell there on the DXY. Thank you, David. Absolutely, Alan. Yeah. Thank you, Gemma. Nice. Nice, brother. Nice. The beginning on the DXY is pretty cool. I really enjoyed that thought experiment with you all. We're going to continue watching how that tracks. JC, you got it. Steve, good to see you. Thank you, Harry. Absolutely. Thank you. Nick. Giles, thanks for letting me know. I don't know. Sometimes I guess if I enjoy them, I hope you all enjoy them. But thank you. Miguel, thanks for your positivity and your presence. Anthony, man, thank you. I'm actually gonna have the opportunity probably to touch base a little bit more than the last vacation on this one with y'all. Maybe. I don't think so. There's no competitor to Bitcoin. That during the last alt cycle, that was kind of, so if there was a competitor to Bitcoin, it would have been something like Bitcoin Cash. Why do I say that? Because Bitcoin Cash was just a fork of Bitcoin. So everyone holding Bitcoin was now holding Bitcoin Cash, and it had what was perceived as or thought to be an improvement of larger block sizes, which was not. Obviously, the market proved that wrong pretty quickly. So if there was going to be, a competitor to Bitcoin, the last market cycle was all about that. Who was going to have better technology than Bitcoin? And Bitcoin, the apex predator, proved that it is the apex predator. That's my opinion. What? Islanders are moving. What? Dave. Oh my goodness! I have to find a way to follow those streams. Oh my goodness! I had no idea. Yeah, everyone, check out Kip's guitar. See if you like that music. Please subscribe. Thanks, Russell. Harry, we're gonna have a great time with the kids, especially with the little ones. Will you ever have a membership? We have. There's a link below in the description. Trade with me. It's an extraordinary asset. Sure, it's an extraordinary asset. It's an extraordinary asset. Andre, we go live every day, but I'm going on vacation. It's the end of August. So September 1st, from then on, we go live every day. That will be through the holidays in December. No, I absolutely love. We're in a good situation, Brandon, already. I found, I've been in the markets for, full time 17 years. No, there's no question that I will not. I will still be here with you. Oh, so that's for sure. Gracias. Qué increíble. I do not. I do not. All right, everyone. Thank you for your beautiful, beautiful well wishes. The music, by the way, could be found on artist.io, and it's called Honeymood, right? So I'm gonna post that link for you. Thanks, Max. You too. Have a beautiful weekend. Jesse, we got people looking for those t-shirts. Jim went ahead and he said his son, a graphic designer, made up some designs and emailed them to me. As soon as I get that, I'm gonna get that over to you, Jesse. Thank you, Weeping Angel. Glad to be back. Digital's MIDI. Right on you, brother. We looked at gold. Go back to the beginning of the webcast. You'll check out gold. Go Highlanders. So, Sean, BlockFi, there's a link in the description below of this video to BlockFi. You know, that's the place to go. Here it is right now. I'll include the link right there for you as well. Are they paying 8.6% now? No, they pay 8.6% on stable coins. That's yearly. And they pay 6% if you're holding Bitcoin. So right now my funds are in Bitcoin. My funds are in Bitcoin, not in a stable coin. No, there's no YouTube membership. There's no YouTube membership. Thanks for the clarification on that. Nice, Nathan. Beautiful. You're doing everything you should as a beginner. You're here with us, following the channel, and that's the best thing you should do. There's no question you should work with me and take the course. There's no question about that as well, but only when you're ready. There will come a time when you're ready. Do it then. But definitely use Oanda, connected to TradingView, and continue following the live sessions. The wealth of knowledge is unlike anything else that you'll find anywhere. And obviously, all of you, the community, is absolutely phenomenal. The insight added, it's amazing. Thank you, Mom. Thank you very much. Luis, thank you. Danny, Sam, you guys are all great. Mary, God bless you too. Thank you for that. Right? Gold ETFs are scary in my opinion. No, I don't send signals. I teach you how to trade, to see the market, understand the market structure, and trade around it. All right, David, everyone, Nick, God bless you all, and I'll see you all later.